Master cooks learn to break eggs with one hand to save time and to multitask. But let's be real. We're here just because it looks so freaking cool. And I'm gonna show you how it's done. To the kitchen! My kitchen's too small to film in, but I've now got a pan. The first thing you need to know is that there's a special grip to doing this. If you imagine your egg is a little person, like my good friend here, Mr. Egg, what you're going to do is you're going to place your index finger and your thumb and hold his head with those two fingers. Then your middle finger comes across his waist and the other two fingers cover the bottom half of the body so that he looks something like this. And look how happy and comfortable he looks. That's because he doesn't know we're about to split him in half. Now you know how to hold your egg, but how do you split it? Unless you want to decimate a whole generation of would-be chickens, I suggest using something else other than eggs to practice. The way they teach you in chef school is to use 2 ping pong balls and a coin. Now my ping pong balls are white because, you know, I'm doing quite well. And so in this scenario, the 2 balls are the 2 halves of the eggshell, and the coin is the egg that you're going to drop in the pan. You want to hold the 2 balls in the egg splitting grip, with the coin between them so that it doesn't fall down. And then pull the front ball away from the back ball so that the coin falls down. Now, this is a pretty good exercise, but remember that on the egg, your middle finger is going to be across the middle of the egg. So when you're pulling the front ball apart, try do it only with your thumb and your index finger. Now back to Mr. Egg. Oh no! You can't just split an egg because, believe it or not, eggs are actually super hard. So much so that there's a myth that no matter how hard you squeeze an egg, it will never break. I mean, if you have an egg in your hand and you squeeze, and the egg's hard, so you have to pre-crack it. Which brings us to one of cooking's most debated questions. Should you crack it on a flat surface or on something sharp? So what is it? A or B? That's right, it doesn't matter.
Oh, but Ralph, if you crack an egg on a sharp surface, you can push the shell into the egg and leave raw egg on the edge, which can cause salmonella, which can cause instant death!
Okay, but if you're careful, both options will work just fine. You just want to make sure that your crack is along Mr. Egg's waistline, which also happens to be the most fragile part of the egg. And now, it's finally time to do it for real.
Oh, please don't crack me!
I'll tell you what, Mr. Egg, if this video gets 100 trillion likes, I'll spare you.
Oh,
The chances are that even if you've pre-cracked your egg, you won't be able to put it apart. This is where your middle finger comes into play. When you're holding the egg in the splitting grip, you want your middle finger to actually be pressing on that pre-crack you made. And so you can keep pressing with your middle finger until the crack gets big enough that you can just pull the 2 halves apart. And the first few times you do this, the chances that you're going to get some shell in your egg is pretty much 100%. So here's a pro tip. When you're first doing this, you can try doing it over a strainer so that the strainer catches any eggshells that fall down. And here are 4 extra tips so you can do this like a pro chef without making a massive mess. If you don't want to break the yolk, be gentle. The egg yolk is actually denser than the egg white, so it drops to the bottom of the egg. And so when you're cracking it on the table really hard, the first thing it's going to hit is that yolk. 2, if you don't want shells in your egg, your movement is probably not smooth enough. So just go back and keep practicing that movement with your balls. 3, break the eggs close to the pan. This prevents the yolk from breaking when it hits the pan, and it prevents the egg from flying everywhere, making a massive mess. And finally, if you want to level up the skill, you can try doing this as fast as possible, or doing it with an egg in each hand at the same time, because that would be the ultimate flex. That's it from me and from Mr. Egg. If you liked the video and you want to see more, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!